Okay, so a little bit of progress last night. So I was waiting for some new spokes to arrive so I could lace the rear wheel up again, because I'd had an idea that the spokes that I got weren't right. I'd ordered some for 1975 to 1977 Maico. This is a 1977. But I just couldn't get the rear wheel to lace up correctly. So I noticed on the spec sheet of the spokes that the spoke for the 75 to 77 was a shorter length to the spoke for the 78 to 80. So I took a bit of a gamble and I ordered the 78 to 80 spokes. Now, there was literally, and I've written it down to remind myself, so there was on the 75 to 79, the left hand side, so the drum side were 139 mil long, and the non-drum side were 196 mil long, and on the 78 to 80 there were 142 mil on the drum side, so 3 mil more, and 199 mil on the non-drum side. Now then, so they arrived last night basically, and I took the wheel into the house and just laced it up while we were watching a bit of telly with the kids or whatever, and basically it laced up fine. I've not trued it yet. I'm going to do that this morning, but I'm just going to show you what the difference was. So basically, on the drum side here, there wasn't really much of a difference. So you'll see these spokes here, they just cross to the opposing holes on the rim. But on the non-drum side, actually, I'm going to spin this wheel over so you can see. The non-drum side that I think was the issue. So in the centre of the hub here, one of the spokes would be correct, and then the other one was like hanging out, and I tried to lace it up in this pattern. So the only way I could get the shorter spokes to lace up was in a more of an acute angle than this, so they were kind of closer together, and when I was trying to lace it up with this pattern, the spokes just weren't long enough to lace up all the way around, so I'd had to do it in more of an acute angle. But then obviously one of the spokes was protruding in the hub, and then once it was all laced up, and it did lace up, but you had some spokes were really tight and some spokes were really loose, and like here, this nipple protruding out of the rim, that will disappear once they're all tightened up. It'll all pull itself together, and it'll work out right. Whereas when I was using the other spokes, some of them were hanging out like quite a long way, and some of them were really tight in. So anyway, so didn't take long to lace this up actually last night. It just went through swimmingly. So clearly that was the issue. So this hub must be from a later bike, or it's just a crossover hub, 78 to 80 hub. Like I say, this hub came with the bike. I got loads and loads and loads of bits, and there's no telling 100% exactly what they are. So there we go, we have what we have. So I'm going to true this up now, and then we're going to get some tyres on the front and the rear rim, and then once we've got them on, then I can start working on the brakes and get the wheels into the bike, and then that'll be like a big move forward really today. And then I've got a few bits and pieces to order, and I've got a brake plate that I need to go and pick up, and a different carb as well, and hopefully we can get motoring on this. And unfortunately it's going to have to come off the bench probably by the end of play on Thursday, and then it's probably going to be a couple of weeks before I can get to look at it again, but hopefully there won't be many jobs left to do. So there we go. Okay, so now I've got the wheels built and I've got the front brake in the front of the bike. I'm turning I need to get my brake plate back off a mate of mine, which I'm going to do tomorrow. So I can't do the rear brake for the back wheel, so that can't go in yet until I've got that back. So I've put the front mud guard on, which hopefully you can see there, which looks good. And then I'm going to put the tank on. And I bought these little tank mount spacers, if you like, but they don't actually fit. So I'm going to 3D print some because I need to get the bike finished, and I might as well 3D print them. It's easy enough. So basically, I'm going to print some spacers that are going to fit in here. They're going to look relatively similar to the ones that I bought, but they're going to be different dimensions. So I've measured the frame width, then I've measured the hole diameter, and then I've measured the width of the tank here, so that I know exactly what distance I've got to play with, and that should be all that I need to know, really. It's an M8 bolt that's going to go through there, so I'm going to get that designed and printed up tonight, and then that should be able to go on in the morning. Nice. Reasonable day again. The wheels are done, both wheels are done, both got tyres on, front wheels in, front brakes in. Like I say, I need to do the rear brake, and then I've just been on with a couple of other little bits and pieces. Nothing particularly major at all, just little finicky bits. And then I've ordered the bits and pieces that I need, so the packing for the exhaust and etc. So again, once I'm picking up a carb tomorrow, and I'm picking up the rear brake plate, so I should be able to get the rear brake done. Hopefully the carb, if not tomorrow, definitely Thursday, and then we should be getting very close, really. All good. Little thing, while I'm printing stuff, I may as well print this as well. The airbox to the air boot, there's two little plastic things, this one and this one, and they sandwich together inside the airbox, but this gap here, which is where the airbox goes, is a lot wider than the airbox itself. So I'm just going to measure that gap, and I'm going to measure the width of the plastic of the airbox, and measure the diameter of this piece, which is the piece that goes on the inlet manifold side. I've just noticed, actually, it's got a little nut there that goes on the inlet manifold side. You just wouldn't ever want that nut to fall out, really, would you? So that I might just Loctite that. Well, actually, it can't even be Loctited. It could be glued in place. I'll need to look at that, because I'm not happy with that nut living there, being able to kind of fall off. So yeah, so I'm just going to measure that gap and the diameter, and then I'll get that piece printed as well. I've got some flexible printing filament, so I'm going to print it a little bit wider than it should be, so it should just squash down a little bit to give it a good seal, really. It should be a good job. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just search Phoenix Motos.